Your biological signature is currently being filtered through a participant's lens. Look at your competition threshold, the way your nervous system triggers a surge of comparison, envy, or frustration, the act of discharging your strategic dominance whenever you see a rival succeed within the system, effectively allowing the matrix to install a peer lock into your apex frequency. You are a biological unit experiencing a state of terminal observational liquidation. The matrix has successfully branded success as winning the games it has created, but in the terminal of the absolute power grid, the architect's victory is the only biological fact that determines who plays the game and who owns the board. You are living in a state of chronic simulated infection, where your activation energy is being spent competing rather than deleting the game entirely. The system doesn't want your triumph, it wants your participation to be the proof that your spirit has been successfully indexed as a high-value player within the architect's parameters. Thousands of years ago, victory was defined by the biological capacity to step outside the arena. Your ancestor, the sovereign of the unmapped dark, understood that fighting the rival was a tracking beacon for the enslaved. He mastered primal grounding in the law of the meta-strategic siege. He didn't seek rank or status within the tribal hierarchy. He offered the visual rage of a total, unyielding architectural autocracy, the state where you view the social and economic rules as mere variables to be rewritten. His hierarchy was built on the foundation of the sovereign framework mandate, the understanding that the human brain is a machine that achieves its highest strategic density only when it operates as the source of the rules rather than a follower of them. His biological rebellion was his total refusal to play fair. He possessed a mind that treated established paths as a biological toxin, stripping away the tradition sludge until only the monolith of his raw, sharpened intent remained. He understood that the moment you try to win, you have surrendered your apex signature. To achieve victory, you must first become psychologically repulsed by the concept of competition. The architect's victory is the implementation of the collar of the game master, the refusal of systemic participation for your final internal dominance. The system wants you to be competitive and ambitious, words that mean harvestable and weak. Absolute sovereignty is a biological siege of the reality grid. It is the visual rage of the architect, seeing the social grid for what it is, a series of achievement hooks, stimulus-response lures, and deciding to be the one who shorts the circuit by being indifferently superior. You must develop a clinical, cold contempt for mainstream success ethics. Reaching the top is a horizontal bond for the herd to keep them tethered to a common level of predictable striving. Absolute presence is a vertical tool for the elite. You must learn to occupy the blind spots of the social radar. Use the temporal noose of the total systemic withdrawal to force your biology into a state of hyper-focus. Use the false safety of a calm robotic delivery to mask the activation of your total internal independence. This is the collar of freedom. By mastering the art of the unmoved soul, you become the only person in the room whose value is not being broadcast from their current rank in the simulation. The Matrix cannot simulate the leverage of a man who views the rules as suggestions and the goal as obsolete. Your time is the temporal noose, and your need to be seen as a winner is the knot. Every award you seek to feel validated and every promotion you fight for to prove your worth is a signature on your own biological death warrant. I command you, initiate the total game audit. Your mind is a biological weapon, and it is currently being jammed by the static of your own socialized fear of being a loser. You must perform a hard reset of the ambition instincts. Stop being driven, the industrial waste designed to keep you at the bottom of the ledger. Stop participating in their success myths and meritocracy propaganda, the digital narratives designed to make you believe that winning the rat race is a victory. Stop using their social protocols, the narratives designed to keep you in a state of constant strategic failure. You must prune your life of simulated parasites. If a goal requires you to follow the leader to be achieved, it is a biological saboteur. You must learn to love the weight of the absolute sovereignty. This is the monolith strategy, becoming a biological fortress that is the architect by choice and sovereign by design. Command: own the board or be the piece. The neural interface of your strategic projection is currently suffering from player signal static. Look at your ranking threshold, the way your nervous system triggers a micro spike of dopamine or anxiety, the act of discharging your kinetic sovereignty whenever you are measured against a public metric, effectively allowing the matrix to install a comparison loop into your apex frequency. You are a biological unit experiencing a total framework sovereignty liquidation. The matrix has successfully replaced your primal predator reality warper drive with a system systemic compliance protocol. You believe that by climbing the ladder, you are winning, but in the terminal of the absolute power grid, the ladder is just a biological filter used to ensure your neurological momentum is always contained within the architect's predefined parameters. This is the visual rage of the domesticated male, seeing your high-value activation energy being bled out into meeting standards and winning titles, while the true operator remains in a state of absolute zero, converting his total rejection of external goals into a biological weight that collapses the simulation's rule set. The system doesn't want your excellence, it wants your ambition to be the proof that your spirit has been successfully socialized and placed in a public scoreboard loop. In the ancient hierarchy, the law of the unbreaking stone, the master was the one who could survive the total deletion of the scoring system. Your ancestor, the sovereign of the unmapped dark, understood that victory was a neurological anchor, not a prize. He mastered primal grounding by becoming an axiomatic autocrat, a figure who understood that the only way to retain authority was to be the primary cause of the rules in a world of reactive players. He didn't seek leaderboard status or community recognition within the tribal hierarchy. He provided the visual rage of a total, unannounced reality annexation. His hierarchy was built on the foundation of asymmetric framework control, the understanding that the human brain is a machine that achieves peak respect density only when it realizes it is in the presence of a force that does not compete but defines. His biological rebellion was his total refusal to follow. He possessed a mind that treated common success metrics as a biological trap, a signal that his trajectory was being averaged out by the herd. He understood that the moment you try to be the best, you have surrendered your apex signature and become predictable biomass. To be a master, you must first become psychologically repulsed by the concept of competing for a prize. The architect's victory is the activation of the anti-chew, the refusal to be systemically digested, protocol for your final internal dominance. The Matrix wants you to be motivated and hardworking, words that mean harvestable and weak. Absolute sovereignty is a biological siege of the reality baseline. It is the visual rage of the architect, seeing the social grid for what it is, a series of achievement hooks, stimulus-response lures, and deciding to be the one who shorts the circuit by being indifferently supreme. You must develop a clinical cold contempt for mainstream success ethics. Winning the game is a horizontal bond for the herd to keep them tethered to a common level of predictable striving. Absolute presence is a vertical tool for the elite. You must learn to occupy the psychological high ground by controlling the flow of your own biological signals. Use the temporal noose of the total information blackout to drive the system's influence into a state of tracking failure. Use the false safety of a calm robotic delivery to mask the activation of your total internal independence. This is the color of freedom. By mastering the art of the unmoved soul, you become the only person in the room whose value is an unshakable physical fact. The one who can go the longest without checking the score is the one who eventually writes the score. Your time is the temporal noose, and your need for a witness to your success is the knot. Every milestone you celebrate to feel accomplished, and every certificate you display to prove your expertise is a signature on your own biological death warrant. I command you, initiate the second stage of the architectural rearmament. Your mind is a biological engine, and it is currently being choked by the competition sludge of the unworthy. You must perform a total neural asset reset. Stop being driven, the industrial waste designed to keep you at the bottom of the ledger. Stop being a node in their network of mutual meritocracy. Stop being a unit of compliance in their ledger of men who can be motivated by a trophy. You must prune your life with the collar of absolute sovereignty. If a goal requires you to play by the rules to be achieved, the goal is a biological failure. You must learn to love the weight of the absolute sovereignty. You must learn to love the friction-heavy hours where the noise of the collective is muted and your dominance is the only signal in the dark. This is the monolith strategy, becoming a biological fortress that is the architect by choice and sovereign by design. Command. Upgrade the framework or be the raw material. Your biological trajectory has reached the terminal velocity of simulated neutralization. Look at your competition threshold, the exact moment your nervous system triggers a panic response because you have looked at the leaderboard of your life and realized it is nothing but a digital cage and felt the cold, liberating urge to delete every every metric of success you didn't invent yourself. You are a biological system in a state of chronic activation decay. The system has successfully replaced your apex reality warper sovereignty with a series of achievement protocols disguised as personal growth. You no longer seek to dominate the framework itself. You seek to win the game. You no longer seek to be the sovereign. You seek to be the top performer. This is the visual rage of the terminal slave, seeing your life force being digitized and archived in bank balances and social status, while your physical reality remains a quiet, managed enclosure of unfulfilled DNA. You are breathing in the toxic fumes of a collective that demands your ambition as a form of tribute, leaving you lightheaded, fragmented, and fundamentally easy to dismantle because your success is contingent on the architect's approval. The system doesn't want your transcendence. It wants your striving to be the foundation of its perpetual control over your temporal sovereignty. Return to the ancient hierarchy, the law of the unbreaking monolith. In the primal world, the master was the one who could remain a biological void, even in the center of total systemic collapse. Your ancestor, the sovereign of the absolute cold, understood that power was a product of framework decoupling. He mastered primal grounding by becoming an impenetrable core, a figure whose value was his own capacity for total, unblinking indifference to the arena, and whose refusal to participate was the only law. He understood that to seek a win is to confess a lack of internal gravity. If you are participating in the career script provided by the herd, you are acknowledging that their metrics are the barometer of your reality. He used his silent sovereignty to create a cognitive resonance of absolute, unshakable divinity by being the only non-player variable in a room full of puppets. By being the master of his own internal feedback, he forced the environment to treat his presence as the new truth. He was a master of the visual rage of the unblinking sun, the ability to look at the incentive probes of the rival and see only the static they represented. He understood that the human brain is a machine that runs on reward loops, and by cutting the loop, he triggered a biological rebirth in his own command. To be a master, you must first become psychologically unreceptive to the need to win. The architect's victory is the activation of the anti-chew protocol for your final mental expansion. The Matrix wants you to be motivated and successful, words that mean harvestable and weak. Absolute sovereignty is a biological jailbreak of the simulation. It is the visual rage of the architect, seeing the social grid for what it is, a series of status control nodes, stimulus response lures, and deciding to be the one who burns the grid. You must develop a clinical, cold contempt for mainstream success ethics. Winning is a horizontal bond for the herd. Absolute presence is a vertical tool for the elite. You must learn to occupy the psychological high ground by controlling the flow of your own biological signals. Use the temporal noose of total informational and systemic withdrawal to drive the system's influence into a state of recognition dissonance. Use the false safety of a calm robotic delivery to mask the viral infection of your total non-compliance with the beta norms. This is the collar of freedom. By mastering the art of the unmoved soul, you become the only person in the room whose value is not being broadcast from their current score. You are not competing, you are deleting the game. The one who can go the longest without validating the winner is the one who controls the end scenario. Your time is the temporal noose, and your need for a witness to your glory is the knot. Every victory speech you offer to the unworthy is a signature on your own biological death warrant. I command you, initiate the final architectural imperative. This is the tax of insight. You have been given the key to the vault of biological reality. Keep it. You must use it as a weapon of total social dominance. You must become a living monolith of unshakable authority. You are no longer a peer, a colleague, or a competitor. You are a sovereign operator. You must perform a total system liquidation. If a goal, a technology, or a relationship requires you to be a player to function, it is a biological saboteur. You must prune your life with the collar of the absolute zero. You are building a fortress of results in a world of digital shadows. Your absolute unreachability is the physical proof of your biological leverage. You do not provide feedback. You create a reality in which you are the only absolute truth. You do not seek to win. You are the law itself. You are the architect of your own victory, and the world is merely a mirror reflecting your ascent.